that stuff, I don't see that as being a problem.
Right.
It's only the people who work there that see it as a problem. It's only people who do have a problem with the stuff, which isn't me.
Yeah.
Which isn't people in my living room.
Yeah.
Who have a problem. So why does it even work this way? Why doesn't it just work like, hey, we're going to show your ad to people who are interested in your thing, and we're going to show it before videos that they like. That's all it needs to be.
Right, but yeah, I mean, it brings up the interesting question of like, should advertisers have this kind of worry of their brand being associated with certain things or certain like behavior or vibes, you know? And I feel like that's always going to be the case, you know, like brands, like part of having a brand is building like a certain identity around that brand. Like people know us for providing this service and, you know, being family friendly, I guess. Like you wouldn't expect Disney to put out like suddenly their entire content.
They're not going to put a poster on like the gates of Auschwitz. They're not going to put like a Star Wars poster, right?
The gates of Auschwitz.
But like that is a physical thing in the world. That is not personalized. That's
Right.
out in the world, right? This is all we have to remember, that this advertising scheme is coming from TV,
Right.
old media.
Which I think is the tension here, because Google wants YouTube to be TV, right? They want to have that like sort of respectable nature to it. I think that YouTube, you know, all of these changes that they've made over the years have been towards becoming more of like an established mainstream respectable platform, and a bit away from being kind of like the Wild West social platform that is, I don't know.
Well, I would argue this kind of goes the other way.
Not Twitter so much as like 4chan, maybe. That's the extreme.
Because like, why is there a time component to this at all? Right? Like,
to what?
well, why is it don't swear in the first 8 seconds,
right?
But after that, you can swear. So it's the same video, so why does it matter? Well, it matters because that first part of the video, that's the part that's going to come directly after the ad. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, maybe originally in the before times, you couldn't put this ad next to a video that contains swearing at all. And then they go, well, what if the swearing is far away? And then they get closer and closer and closer. What if it's a minute away? What if it's 8 seconds away? And they're just like, and eventually it's, what if it doesn't matter at all and they're swearing? Like, so this is just 8 seconds of distance between your ad.
But this is what's so confusing
and
about
cussing.
This is what's so confusing about these last few changes. I mean, it's like from April 2021 to November, there were a few changes in between there, but that's what makes this whole thing so confusing, is because they changed it from being, if you swear any time in the video, we treat it basically the same. It doesn't matter whether you say the F word at 5 seconds or at 32 seconds or at 32 minutes. It's all the same. And then they changed it in April to say, just kidding, you can swear in the first 30 seconds, and we'll treat that differently. And now they're shortening.
So
that.
you're saying
like
you're saying they're flip-flopping. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess it was. Maybe it's not. Honestly, the whole thing is so confusing because I guess there have also been changes to the way that they treat certain profanity. So like there was like extreme profanity and moderate profanity. So like in the first 30 seconds you can only do moderate profanity, and now you can use any profanity you want.
So if
after 8 seconds.
if I wait 8 to 15 seconds, let's say call it 20 just to be safe, I can go with see you next Tuesday, F words,
see you next Tuesday,
whatever I want, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Is that how it works now?
After 8 seconds,
what the fuck?
you can say whatever you want, although as we saw in the advertiser-friendly content guidelines here, there's a difference between, like, you can earn full ad revenue. This content can earn ad revenue if you use profanity after 15 seconds. If you use profanity in between the first 8 to 15 seconds, you might get limited. And if you say profanity before that, in the first 7 seconds, you're gonna be fully demonetized.
Really?
So I'll give them kudos for the fact that this table right here is clearer than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because they actually give you examples of the swear words here.
They want to monetize every video.
They do want to do that, and we want to monetize this video too, which is why it's sponsored by Secret Lab. Secret Lab chairs are engineered to keep you incredibly comfortable for long hours at work and play. Their new Titan Evo 2022 chair features 4-way lumbar support, ultra comfy lines of different seat materials, and more. All their chairs come with up to a 5-year extended warranty and a 49-day return policy. So head to the link in the description and check out Secret Lab today. Yes.
Right? They want to monetize as much as they can. They probably don't really care about the advertisers' Chick-fil-A Christian values.
Right.
They just want to get money
Google
for
doesn't
everything.
care, and probably the advertisers don't care either. It's just like the audience that they're imagining is going to be offended by these things. And, to be fair, this is probably based off research.
Again, that's so stupid because the internet is about personalization. Like in old media, a TV, I'm in an airport, the TV's playing. Anyone could be seeing that ad. Anyone could be watching that. But now we're talking about my phone that I'm holding. So if I think the content is savory, it's savory. It doesn't matter what the guy next to me on the bus thinks. He's not watching my phone. This is just for me.
So are you suggesting that because we live in this era of personalization, these services should have the ability to kind of use this data that has been collected about us,
Which they already have, to serve us different levels of, serve us the level of like appropriateness that we are okay with having. I've already told your data graph that I'm into this stuff. So show me whatever ad, because it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying?
So under that system, would creators be able to just kind of do whatever they want and then trust that Google is going to serve them or give them ad revenue from the advertisers that want to advertise on like crazy, swear-filled content?
I guess it's like, do we end up arriving? I guess what I'm saying is that there shouldn't be, the advertisers just shouldn't have a choice. Like, you just get put wherever. That would be what but I understand why they wouldn't want that, which is why we arrived at the situation we have.
Chain,
I'm
artinya
saying
apa
it's
tuh?
kind of
Nggak ngerti
arbitrary
gua.
and illogical.
I agree.
Like, if you've determined that I'm in the market for your product, I'm in the market for, what's the most wholesome product? I don't know, like
Cheerios.
baby butt wipes.
Baby butt wipes.
I'm in the
Baby
market
butt
for...
wipe flavored Cheerios.
I'm in the market for the most wholesome
Okay,
product.
terus?
You have determined I'm your target market. But I also like to watch videos that are very unsavory and have lots of swearing and gore and violence and just the worst stuff. Satanism.
I mean, obviously, this is like
If
an
I'm
extreme,
both...
extreme example. There's not going to be many people like that.
There could be. There
Well,
could
I
be
guess-
millions, billions of people like that.
I guess if you're in the market for baby wipes, yeah. But maybe you're looking for like the edgy baby wipes.
But what I'm saying is, like, you've determined I'm one of your customers. Why do you think I'm like why make a judgment call about my morality and my tastes and preferences? Just show me the damn ad, and then I'll go on and watch the content that I like.
Well, I guess I agree with you that in this world where we've already given up all our data and they have all this
Page
information
2?
about us already, we might as well use that data now to make
Udah,
using
itu.
YouTube and creating content for social platforms like easier for everybody by not trying to apply the single standard to everyone. I mean, like, it's based on TV, right? As you say, everyone's gonna see it. So
So you're on my side now.
I think I agree with you about the theoretical proposition there. I don't know if it's realistic, because I think what YouTube is trying to be is TV, and if they allow this situation where whatever goes, everyone can just like make crazy violent content. We didn't even talk about that, or like drug references. There's new rules about that have affected gaming creators. If they let it be like a Wild West, I don't think they're gonna get the type of I don't know what you call it, prestige, respect that they would expect.
Well, I could see,
or that they want.
I think it's the brush. The brushes we've chosen that are annoying me. Like, it's swearing and it's violence, but it really should be things like, I don't want my brand to come before a conspiracy theory video. Or for example, I'm not choosing sides here, but let's just say, I don't want to be in front of an anti-vax misinformation
Chain,
video. I don't want to
terus?
be in front of a flat earth video. I don't want to be in front of, some kind of like key issue. I have no problem with advertisers specifying which channels they don't want to be in front of or something like that, because they don't want to give money to those people or those creators or something like that. But just to be like, well, swearing is just bad. Is it?
This is interesting. So like you're totally on the side of like we should let them fly.
Change.
Like, YouTube should be a platform where there's no, like, everyone just kind of makes the content they want with no thought towards like standards of what is appropriate?
Well, not necessarily. It's up to them. Like, for example, this organization, say the WAN show,
yeah.
there's no swearing. And it's not because we're afraid of getting demonetized. It's because we want to have the show playing in as many living rooms and cars and headsets as possible.
Right.
And if you're driving home with your kid in the car and there's a bunch of swearing, you can't listen to that when you're driving your kid home from school. So that limits your own audience. So we've made the decision as a business to be like, let's min-max this and just bleep our swears or say poop instead of the other word. And it's not that hard, and we make more money.
Right, especially because for our type of content, it's not crucial that we, you know, let things fly, you know? And I think that the difference between Linus Media Group and other groups of YouTubers or individual YouTubers is that they might have a brand that relies a lot more on, hey guys, I'm just sitting down, this is my completely brutal, honest take.
Yeah, you might be
something.
like a comedian, a roast comedian, a very edgy comedian who relies on swearing. Or you might be like a faith-based channel that like really relies on not. There's different dimensions. There's different forces pushing you. For us, there is a commercial force pushing us to not swear. But then there might be a moral force to push you not to swear.
But like you said,
there might be a functional force to push you to swear. But it's up to you to figure that out.
But like you said, I feel like even if swearing would benefit our content in some way, like maybe it would make us seem a little bit more relatable or make us seem a little bit more, you know, honest, I guess. At the end of the day, do you really, like, does it really, like, fundamentally change the content if you use the real F word or if you say, like, frickin' or something? Like, does it, how fundamentally, like, it changes the vibe.
Yeah, well, I think YouTube is largely about authenticity, and if you're coming off as being inauthentic because, you know, you're just like, oh, shoot! Like, if that's you, if you're Ned Flanders...
But if they know that you're doing that as a business decision, then they're kind of like, I get it.
They can understand it, but it's still inauthentic.
Like, there's a part of me that feels that coming onto a platform like YouTube and just completely letting loose and saying, like, I don't even care about the advertising, I don't even care what's good as a business decision, I'm gonna make the content that I want to make. It's like, that's great. You should do that if you want to do that, but you also need to understand that that's going to have ramifications for the success of your brand, right?
Well, there's another element of this we haven't talked about, where you see two different parts of YouTube fighting each other, and so this is the violence part. So is it the case that if you are a game streamer and you stream first-person shooters, and you start your video with a bunch of headshots, can you get demonetized for that?
Yes. So that's what I brought up earlier, is that they did also in this November of 22 update. I'm not as familiar with what things were like before, but this one says that game violence directed at a real named person or acts that are manufactured to create shocking experiences such as brutal mass killing, implied moment of death such as bombing a building with people inside, may not receive ad revenue.
Does that include just like Battlefield, like a jet comes over and just...
This is a big reason why gaming YouTubers were so affected by this, because, you know, especially in the first seconds of a video, you're trying to grab people's attention. So often there will be gameplay, there will be violence.
A sizzle reel.
Yeah.
Like a highlight reel of the best stuff. And hey, we're playing graphic war video games.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest video games in the world.
Right.
And we're going to show the best moments. Best means mass murder.
Yeah.
So that's our society.
Exactly.
And so YouTube is rewarding me and incentivizing me to put these best moments at the top, but they're also admonishing me for doing that because advertisers don't like that. So what am I supposed to do, YouTube? High retention and no monetization?
Yeah, so but like that's what's so funny is that like standard gameplay where gory injuries are present, they say standard gameplay, like they know that this is standard for game stuff. They say after the first 8 seconds, it's okay. You may receive ad revenue, which is so funny because, and this is what's also interesting. They have a separate page about gaming stuff specifically, and they added that recently. The gaming and monetization article. Yeah, here it is. And but in this update, they loop it all under violence. So this was part of the problem, is that I'm like, hey, what types of violence that you're describing here are specifically game stuff, and what parts are like they say police seizures as part of law enforcement. It's all very confusing, and I think that for me is the biggest takeaway from all this. Like, it's really unfortunate that in this recent round gaming creators specifically were the ones affected. In other situations, you know, during the adpocalypse, it was more kind of like a broad stroke. So that sucks. And I think that the thing that most people are criticizing YouTube for here is the lack of communication. Like, change the guidelines, you know.
Oh menang, surrender
Like you said,
anjir.
the algorithm has been this kind of like mysterious thing, and that's kind of part of the whole deal. But I think that needs to change now, especially if they're going to be making such drastic changes.
Rank
like
up,
this.
yo.
I feel like YouTube has a responsibility to communicate this.
Yeah, you should be able to at least get an email instead of having to just know that page exists.
Yeah.
What about shorts also, though? 8 to 15 seconds, it could be like half of your short.
Terus coba
So you can't
Yeah.
open with some colloquial language, you're just going to get demonetized on your short. Like, that's a long time in a short.
I wonder if, and I think that these do apply consistently to shorts, like to all content. So, and live streams, like that's the other thing. When you're doing a live stream, you don't know what is going to pop up. And if you're playing a game, you don't know if something's going to pop up and then it's like horribly inappropriate.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
You don't know.
So it's a mess. And at the same time, I think YouTube has a responsibility to communicate, but at the same time, I think as creators, we also have a responsibility to kind of like, you know, try and play it safe a little bit until we get to this utopia that you're describing where...
Well, it still has problems. Like, well, let's say
It's
I'm
not a utopia,
I'm logged
but-
into my account and I'm showing my kid a video for kids.
Water glory.
And then there's like a Viagra commercial in front of it. I'm like, oops, sorry, Bobby. Didn't mean for you to see that.
Well, exactly. But, you know, I think the counterpoint to that I've seen is people saying...
Get your kid an account.
Well, or there's YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
There's kids versions of these apps.
I actually don't believe in showing YouTube to kids.
Coba.
Pretty trash content.
Well,
That's a different talk link, though.
there's some really good compilations
Mas itu
of
kartu
like,
doang,
just all the dinosaurs.
Dinos.
Yeah.
They love
Like
dinos.
there's Jurassic Park
Okay.
or Jurassic World.
I got her a book.
I got my kid books.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It's just
Your
YouTube.
kids can't
They
read.
open the book, it's a phone.
You're not wearing headphones this whole time.
Oh, whoops.
You told me to do it. Oh,
I know what I
look like
sound
a
like
podcast
already.
guy.
Wait,
You-
we have to do the outro. Thanks for watching Talk Linked. In case you were wondering what show this is, maybe it'll come back.
Am I involved in the outro?
You're in the video.
See you later.
Coba ya. Gacha man.
It was $1,000.
That baby looks so alarmed. We really didn't have as much to be excited about back then, did we? We just came across an absolute nostalgia goldmine. Remember Maximum PC? No?
Coba.
Across an absolute nostalgia goldmine. Remember Maximum PC? No?
Normally I keep things light on this channel, like talking about the next dumb drama Logan Paul's into, but you might have also noticed that the world is kind of struggling. There was 40,000 layoffs at Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. There is speculation that a recession is coming, and although I'm no expert on those things, I am somewhat of an expert on esports, and I can tell you this, esports is dying.
Okay.
I mean, they are struggling
Open.
just as much as the rest of the world, maybe even more so. There was 30 layoffs at 100 Thieves. Riot is expected
nih?
to have some layoffs. The entirety of the Overwatch
Okay.
League is losing so much money, they've entered collective bargaining with Blizzard. And also FaZe, who's like the prodigy of esports. They're supposed to be cool. According to high schoolers who went public 5 months ago with a valuation of $750 million, they're at risk of being delisted from the stock market because their stock price is so low. Nobody wants to buy it. Why is this all happening? Well, I think I've said it enough over the past year, but esports is not a good business to be in. It's kind of like a bubble, all right? Everybody is propped up by cryptocurrencies and venture capitalist groups, and those are all kind of going away. So who's left to pay the bill?
Wih.
Well, it's not the companies themselves. Most esports companies have not made a successful business strategy to actually make money. There are some, but they're few and far between, which is why this video is actually about a huge announcement.
If you don't know, pretty much every single esports organization is vastly overvalued because they're all subsidized by venture capitalist groups that are probably going to get fed up in 3 to 5 years when none of them are profitable, or crypto exchanges.
What the fuck, man?
Dude, where'd you get that?
Oh, this thing? I forgot I was holding it. Yeah, this is the Rocket League Spring Major Championship Trophy where we took first place in front of a sold-out copper box arena in front of God and every sports fan on this planet. That's the Moist Esports way.
Obviously, I'm talking about what you're wearing.
Oh, you're talking about the CEO Championship belt where we took first place in the Smash Major back in October of 2021.
How do you keep doing that?
Oh, winning? Yeah, hard work, perseverance, life, liberty, pursuit of dubs, the whole nine. Just champions over here.
Okay, I get it. Moist is super successful. You don't have any crypto sponsors, but don't you have to burn a lot of money to win that much?
Didn't Susan give you a lot of money to burn?
So you just burn the money like this?
Things like that, I think it
Fun.
would. It gets addicting, I'll tell you what.
I could get used to this.
Ooh. Ooh, nice.
Woo! Woo! Something right about me and Moist, huh? I'm at home.
Yeah, that's right. This whole video about how esports is dying is actually about how I'm joining as the co-owner of Moist Esports. To which you might say, aren't you being dumb? Aren't you being a hypocrite? Isn't this how you're gonna burn all of your money? To which I say, maybe, but there's two real reasons why I did this. One, I like esports. I know I talk shit on it all the time, but my ideal Sunday is sitting down, having football on one monitor, esports on the other monitor, and chess on my main monitor while I tank elo and watch my favorite teams win, or usually lose. Bill Belichick, what the fuck's going on, man? Bill O'Brien? Again? Really? But two, I also believe in Charlie. Moist Critical. I mean, seriously, he's a guy who I just look up to. I like working with, and an opportunity to work with him, even if it
Nice.
requires burning a lot of money, I think is an opportunity worth taking. But outside of passion and wanting to work with Charlie, I also think there's some possibility that it could make money. Because I think we have an advantage that most teams don't. The same advantage that somebody like Disguised Toast would have, which is the exact tweet I sent out to him a week ago about the same topic. We're all content creators. And in this space, where every single venture capitalist group freaks out, gushes, and comes their little pants at the sentence creator economy, we have a lot of leverage, a lot more than an esports team like, you know, well, I guess I shouldn't name any because they're my competitors now, but like another esports team who's not creator backed. And I think there's three main ways you can make money while being creator backed. The first one, package sponsors with yourself and the esports company. You know, if I do a good job with like NordVPN or like, I don't know, Red Bull, Yerba Mate, they'd want to sponsor me, but maybe I can also package in sponsoring my esports team. It's only more value, it's only more eyes on it, and they trust the work that I've done. And look, I've looked at the numbers, esports tournaments, the amount of money that they make for a sponsorship pales in comparison to the amount of money your favorite streamer will make for the same exact deal and probably less viewership. So packaging sponsors, that's option one. Option two, and this one I think is even a little bit better, it scales a little more, is making a product. You know, I've made swipe bidets, for example, but like if every single Rocket League player had to use my bidets, okay, this is getting kind of weird, well, it would make the product bigger. It'd be like a marketing tool for it. I think better examples would be like StarForge PC with OTK. Now they've been through some other shit that makes StarForge not so successful, but you get the picture, you know? You can really imagine things like Prime and Feastables being multi-billion-dollar companies in the next 5 years. So why couldn't the same thing happen if a creator made a product and then used their esports team as the vehicle to market it rather than marketing a HyperX headset? No offense, HyperX, I love the headsets. I'm just saying I don't own HyperX, so it doesn't have as much upside. And then option three is getting a really fucking good team and selling it. Or like selling a roster spot like people do in League of Legends all the time. It's what Misfits did. I think they sold their LEC spot for like $20-30 million or something like that. And then they pivoted to content creation. But you can buy a roster, you can sell the roster to another team, and it's basically like having a speculative asset. Kind of like what happens in sports. I think that's more of an exit strategy than a long-term viable strategy of making money. But I think a combination of all three of these things is a path, a viable path to actually making money in esports. And the cost of being in esports isn't actually that bad. I know people talk about